So let me tell you about my Sadhguru experience. So by way of background, Sadhguru is a yoga teacher who I really have just recently has popped up in my awareness via Facebook, what else? But I started seeing some of his videos and teachings in my Facebook feed, and I really found that he had some interesting and enlightening things to say about the nature of reality and different meditative and yogic practices. And then when I found out that he is from Mysore, that's when I was like, wow, this is a coincidence, because that's the same town in India that I travel to every year to study yoga. So then I come to find out that he's going to be in Tampa earlier this week and giving a talk. So I wasn't going to miss an opportunity to see him, being the darshan junkie that I am. So it reminded me a little bit of when I've gone to see Amma, the hugging saint. He's a little less mystical than Amma, and he wasn't giving any hugs, unfortunately. But a lot like Amma, he is a pretty amazing human being and does a lot of charitable works. They showed a short video before he began talking that discussed some of the charitable works he does, helping children's education and the environment. And the video was funny because it showed him playing Frisbee, and he's almost 60 years old, and he is so freaking agile, and he was running around throwing the Frisbee and spinning around. He looked like Yoda in Attack of the Clones in a lightsaber battle with Count Dooku, like a little old man that could freaking spin around. Although he is an older man, but he's tall. He's kind of tall and lanky. Still not someone you would picture being so agile, and watching him play Frisbee was pretty cool. He was very funny and down to earth. He told a joke, the punchline of which was shitting, which I thought was funny to see this exalted teacher cussing. And he began his talk, he talked about suffering, which was also funny because just earlier that day I had pulled at Total Zen the suffering card. And he just explained how his view on human suffering is that it comes from not really totally understanding how to use the mind-body instrument such that we let our minds get away from us. We get so bogged down with the outer world that we don't focus on what we have control of, which is our inner world. He explained that we really don't have much control over our outer circumstances. We have some limited control, but shitty things are going to happen in our lives, and what we do have control over is how we deal with our life on an inner level, whether we can maintain balance and peace of mind. And he talked about how peace really is, it shouldn't be like an exalted state. It's something we're all entitled to as human beings, to live in a state of peace. And that we've kind of put it on a pedestal where our whole goal of life is peace. And he's like, no, we should just be able to sit here and be peaceful and not be in the state of anxiety that we find ourselves in because we allow our minds to drive us crazy. And he talked about how we're just really not taught how to control our minds. You know, it's not taught in school the way that ABCs are taught, mathematics are taught, and that with just a little bit of teaching about the nature of the mind, that we really can find that state of peace that belongs to us as human beings. He led a meditation, which was pretty cool. It was just a simple, I am not my body, I am also not my mind. And I thought it was interesting how quickly I was able to get into that meditative space despite being in a huge crowded auditorium, just because his voice was so calming and he had such a profound control of the energy in the room. He gave a very enlightened talk. He led a meditation. He then opened the floor up to questions and answers and gave some very poignant answers to specific questions from the audience members. One audience member asked if he would throw Frisbee with us, which he politely denied the request, but he seemed open to it. And altogether, like I said, he was just really funny, down to earth. He spoke for over 2 hours without any ums or uh-uhs, which I always find interesting. A lot of these very enlightened speakers are able to do that. He didn't have any notes. He just talked from the heart for that entire time, which was impressive. So he was pretty amazing. He was the real deal. You could feel it. You could feel the upliftment of energy in his presence. I feel blessed to have gotten the opportunity to experience his darshan, and to hear him cuss and to watch him throw Frisbee. I'm just blessed that I got to experience Sadhguru, and if you get an opportunity to check out any of his charitable works or any of his writings or teachings, I would recommend it. He's a pretty rad dude.